A huge guilty pleasure of mine was watching these Planet of the Apes movies. I really enjoyed them. Now, these movies aren't perfect, they're pretty tropey, they're filled with all the things that you would probably expect from watching thousands of other Hollywood blockbusters, but there's just so much to love about these movies. Until I watched the fourth one. As a fan of the monkey movies, and as a monkey movie aficionado, I'll tell you that this is no monkey movie at all. This is a monkey movie for people that hate monkey movies, people that want to sit in the movie theater, eat popcorn, and finger their girlfriend, for people that want to make criticizing YouTube videos and share with you guys for views. So I guess I ticked the last box, which is exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell you exactly why this is a steaming pile of trash and to not waste your money, eyeball time, or really anything watching this movie. For those of you that aren't monkey movie aficionados like myself, I'll give you a quick breakdown of all three. The Rise of the Planet of the Apes. James Franco is a scientist and he created this virus that was supposed to help people. The side effects of that, it gave apes super intelligence. There was an ape being tested in the lab. Over time, he became smart as hell. Now this virus is spreading around all of the apes and there's a huge colony of super smart apes. Rupert Wyatt directed this one. Matt Reeves directed the second two. Yeah, that's right. The Batman Matt Reeves, that guy. That guy really loves Andy Serkis. And to be honest, I do too, because throughout this entire journey, you really connect with this animated ape, Caesar, because he seems so human. But we also understand the point of view of humans on why they'd be so threatened by a super species of apes. And in the second movie, we get to see how that kind of connects. While humans are still on top, you've got all of these super smart apes that just want to be left alone at first, but then it gets to a point towards the end of the movie where the apes are really threatened by the humans and the humans are really threatened by the apes, starting a war for the Planet of the Apes, which is the last movie's name. It's called. It was a satisfying end to his character. Spoiler alert, Caesar dies at the end of this. So it leaves me thinking, if Caesar was the main reason I was attached emotionally to this franchise, how the hell are they going to carry this forward without Caesar? We found out that this virus not only gives apes the super genius gene, but it also takes that away from human beings. So now in this last installment, humans are going to have the intelligence of apes and apes are going to have the intelligence of humans. Not only that, but this is 300 years in the future, this next movie. This last movie being called The Kingdom for the Planet of the War of the Dawn of the Extinction of the Rise of the Planet of the Apes, or something like that. The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. It's supposed to be pretty good. We'll have to see. They're putting a bunch of money into this project, and they're gonna be replacing Matt Reeves with Wes Ball. What, you haven't heard of Wes Ball? Wes Ball is the director of The Maze Runner, The Scorched Trails, Ruin, The Maze Runner, Death Cure, and then Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. He's the guy that studios hire because they're cheap and because they'll really listen to all the notes that the production company gives them. They don't feel like they're entitled to their own artistic expression.
Talking about the original, like, I remember watching that as a kid. My dad showed it me.
Yeah,
and
me too.
And the end, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Do you feel any pressure then with your final act that you have to deliver, like, a similar punch, I guess?
No.
Emotional, impactful ending? No, that's not really for us. All we're really looking to do is tie in some sequels in the future. That's our main goal.
So it's like we weren't even gonna try. What we did try to do was literally open a door to
Say it. I know you want to say it. Say it.
potential of what we want to do, explore in the future.
That's
You know
right,
what I mean? So
sequels,
these movies
baby!
always-
Real question is, does he understand the source material? Does he care about the script?
Well, I know Apes Together Strong has been used throughout. I'm just wondering, what does that phrase mean for you personally?
Yeah, I mean, I think it means, you know, work together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like, work together. That's probably what that means, right? Is that what they meant by that? We start out with this movie saying many generations later, which really shocks me because these animals at this point can do complex mathematic equations. They can speak fluid English. They can communicate like normal people. But for some reason, they're still living with sticks and huts and everything as if they're tribal cavemen. They have the intelligence of human beings at this point, and they have the jumping off point of seeing all the stuff that humans already made. So then we're introduced to the most boring ape that we could possibly come up with, Noah.
The movie takes place several hundred years after the end of Caesar's storyline. Character named Noah is idyllic and lives a very idyllic kind of life and existence with his little tribe. Kind of comes of age and saves his family and sets about, hopefully a whole long future of more movies here.
Oh yeah, someone give this guy some more money. He's our main character this time around, and he looks like every other ape in his tribe and every other ape that we'll see in the movie. This is Noah. Lock it in your head, really remember what he looks like. All right, now pick which one you think Noah is out of these characters in the movie. The correct answer is none of these are Noah. No, I'm joking. It's this one right here, but you believe me because you don't know what he looks like. And on top of the generic look, he has no character whatsoever. It's not even until the end of the movie that he's even assigned a character trait. This is literally the only conversation these three apes will have in this film, but apparently there's supposed to be a lot more to it.
So these three apes that we meet in this scene, Suna is behind me, who's my friend, and maybe a little bit more than just my friend. And then Anaya, he's the smallest of the three of us, and he's kind of the clown of the group. We were born within a sunset, we say. We're basically siblings, but, you know, not actually siblings. But
perhaps that would have made things more interesting if we had all of this background and we knew their dynamics with each other. We don't know anything. So they're all trying to get this egg. Apparently it's very important.
And we're getting ready for something called Bonding Day. It's basically our
Rite of passage.
Yeah, it's our rite of passage.
Yeah.
It's our day of becoming adult. We have to climb for our eggs, and then we take our eagle eggs back to our village, and we sing to them. We bond with them through this ritual that eventually they hatch and they become our eagles.
I'm not so sure why they kept all of that a secret. It would have been cool to know why they were risking their lives for this random egg. Was there a pamphlet or something that I didn't read prior to the movie? Noah takes a really stupid risk and almost falls off the cliff, but then there's a convenient branch that saves his life. Throughout the movie, they try to sell how intelligent and crafty and clever he is by just having people say how intelligent he is.
I've heard that you are a very clever ape, young. Very clever.
Without actually showing him do anything smart. In this instance, if they had him successfully make the climb and get the egg without almost falling to his death within millimeters, then maybe that would have shown how capable he is. But instead, they had to go for this cheap, tense moment. And I guess the egg is really important to his tribe. They're bird people, and that egg meant a lot. So he thinks he's gonna come back, present it at the ceremony, and his dad is gonna think he's a hero. And he talks to his dad, but he doesn't mention it for whatever reason. His dad's kinda pissed with him, but he doesn't bring it up. And then later on, a human sneaks in and breaks the egg. Really bad luck on this guy so far. The movie wants to show you that he has a mom and a dad and friends, so it makes the events that follow a little bit more meaningful. Here's the dialogue that they come up with to introduce the mother.
I am your mother.
Nothing they set up matters to the plot. Nothing they set up comes back later. It's like they just did it to check some boxes real quick. But he has a mother, he has a father, those people exist. And since the egg broke, he feels that he has to go get another egg or else his dad's not going to accept him or something. He feels the need to go back that very night, even though he saw how dangerous that was by himself, and go get another egg. He doesn't even make it halfway there, and there's a big tribe of other apes that are hunting down a human. He leaves his horse out for them to follow back to camp, resulting in everybody in his tribe getting killed or captured.
Round them up! No, please!
I would say that they could have named this movie 13 Reasons Why Noah's a Fucking Dumbass, but that number gets a lot higher than 13, so that wouldn't work. Another weird character design is this big ape, which really resembles the main villain, which is shown prominently in the trailers. The one that goes, "What a wonderful day."
What a wonderful day!
It's possible that I'm just ape racist, but when you watch it, they make him out to be the leader of the group, and he looks so similar to the other guy that it took me till the middle of the movie to realize that it's not the same guy. I don't even think they tell you this one's name, but he's the one that's responsible for killing his whole village and killing his father right in front of him. It probably would have been more impactful if it was the main bad guy. You don't even meet the main villain until the third act. Noah just kind of sits there and watches his elderly dad get the shit beat out of him, and then from the looks of it, he hops up on a metal beam. So then the big ape uses his electricity stick to fry him down. They're so inconsistent as to what these monkeys can do and what they can't. You're telling me they're able to weld metal together? They got the material, they cut it to shape, and they welded the metal. Are you fucking serious? They're living in tree houses. His dad dies right in front of him. His dad's last thought is probably, wow, my son's a complete fucking jackass. Noah falls off this huge structure that's like 20 stories high into a pile of burning wood, and he wakes up the next morning unscathed. He's actually the only one out of his entire village to not get killed or captured. So now he's on a revenge quest. He's gotta go get them back. What's he gonna do when he gets there? Who knows? Their fate is in this fucking moron's hands. Lucky for them. I also never understood why these post-apocalyptic movies make these buildings look this way. A nuclear bomb did not go off. It was just kind of untended to. After passing by all that structure, Noah decides to set up in the middle of the complete open with like 30-mile-per-hour winds and start a fire. I'm surprised he was even able to get it going. What a dumbass. Just go behind something. In this movie, they maintain that Noah's tribe had nothing to do with Caesar. They don't know anything about Caesar. They don't know that the humans came before them. They just know their tribe. But yet they all travel. They all see the railroads and huge cities. They just don't ask any questions, I guess. But I guess they know how to weld metal. Noah travels a little bit. He falls into this roof, meeting our next character, Raka, who's kind of cool, actually. Apparently, those same apes rolled through and killed Raka's boyfriend. It's left pretty vague, but it sounds as if that's his boyfriend.
He was my village. They killed him.
And he was clearly killed pretty recently because he's still burning. You could see his bones. Raka doesn't even take a second to grieve. He just moves on and walks away. He doesn't even mention this a second time and joins Noah on his journey, no questions asked. Okay.
The symbols have meaning. Long before your elders, it was Caesar.
Apparently the other apes are like Caesar extremists, and not even Raka knows that humans were dominant in their time. But how do you not know that? Look at the painting. Look around you. Look at the world. Where do you think all this shit came from?
Humans are slow-witted.
Raka doesn't have any family or friends. It was just that one guy, and he seems to not give a shit. He's cracking jokes. But across the way, they meet the human from earlier. She's been following them. If you remember, all humans are supposed to have the intelligence of animals, so this is one of our main characters. She's stupid. I hate this character. She's the one that broke the egg earlier. She's the one the apes were chasing, and luck would have it, they run into the same apes. As the human's about to die, she stands up and yells, "Noah!" revealing that she actually can talk. This is supposed to be a big reveal, but the trailer gave it away in the most awkward way possible.
I have a name. May.
I have a name. It's May. The name May means nothing to us. But now, since I watched the trailer, I didn't expect her to not talk. It was more of a reveal when I found out that they were trying to make it a reveal in the first place. They just barely make it out of there. Nothing Noah did, though. Noah didn't do anything special. He got saved at the last second by Raka. It's like this movie's afraid of having Noah do anything that shows he's capable. They walk for a little bit, and then they get confronted by the same apes they just escaped from. And then what comes next is one of the dumber moments in the movie. Long story short, Raka sacrifices his life to save the human he just met, but they did it in a way that seemed like a fake out death. I didn't know he actually died until the credits rolled. He just gets pulled out to sea and we don't actually get to watch him die. They were obviously going for an emotional moment, but because they didn't show him die or make it very clear that he is dead, the emotional weight is completely lost. We were all expecting to see him at some point in the movie save Noah at the last second, but then the movie wrapped up and there was no Raka. What a complete waste of a character death. That's the worst way to handle it. What makes it even stupider is that his sacrifice was completely pointless. It turns out that these apes weren't even trying to kill them, they were trying to capture them. So if Raka didn't fight back, then they would have just all been captured instead of having Raka die. His sacrifice meant nothing at all. Now, we thought that there was an implication of danger, that's why those scenes felt tense, but as it turns out, they just wanted to take them alive. All they did was lead them to their destination. They all get taken, but it's basically just an escort to the location they were trying to go to. They don't get tortured, they don't get tied up, they're not prisoners. They just lead them to their settlement and let them do what they want. It's really stupid. And what else is really infuriating is the fact that you assume Noah not getting captured in the beginning was the only reason he was able to embark on this journey. But if he just got captured along with the rest of his tribe, the rest of the movie would have played out exactly the same. Let me explain how stupid this really was. As you can see, I got a nice little graph here, and this movie's not a short movie. It's like a 2.5 hour movie, as you can see. So this is the point where Noah gets captured. He gets captured by the people he's been running from the whole movie, the same people that took his family at like the 10-minute mark. It took about an hour and 10 minutes to get to the point where he got captured. In the beginning of the movie, Noah was left alive. He got sent on this mission, he wanted to save his family, and that's what sent us into this long-ass travel section. Now, the fact that he got captured anyways at the 1 hour mark pretty much undermines this entire travel section, because if he were to have just gotten captured captured back then with his family, the movie would have just started there. We would have skipped all of this middle section and the movie would have been the exact same, just much shorter. And I think we could afford that because without all of this first act, we would have had a movie 1 hour and 25 minutes. Every time they almost got caught by them, there was an implication of danger because we thought that he might die. But if he got captured at the first encounter, that would have also been the same thing. Are you guys following me? Does this make any sense? The worst sin that a filmmaker can commit is wasting a bunch of fucking time, making an entire first act that doesn't directly lead into the events of the second act. None of this shit needed to happen. He could have gotten caught at the beginning with his family. If you want to make a protagonist like this, why don't you make it so he gets to his goal on his own accord because he learned something, he did something? Why make it so stupid where all the events that happen are completely out of his control and it's just circumstance that just guides him through the movie like a leaf in the wind? Bad writing. You expected his family to be in grave danger, like these people were super cruel, but it's really not that bad. And everybody roams free. It seems like you can go as you please. And then May gets special treatment too. I don't know what the hell she was running for. She gets to go up to the luxury apartment area and holy shit, is that William H. Macy? Fucking Frank Gallagher's in this movie. He can also talk, so I guess it's not that rare or uncommon. Remember that dynamic they set up where it's a reversed world? Humans are like apes and apes are like humans. Well, there's only 2 humans in the movie and they both talk and act completely normal. So doesn't that negate the entire concept of the film?
He's mostly interested in history.
I guess Frank Gallagher reads Proximus history books, and because of that, he's able to stay alive and stay in the good graces of this ape king. And the whole time he's explaining this, May is making cunty remarks at him.
And then I fell and shattered my ankles. That's where Proximus found me. So, who are you?
I'm the human not helping the apes.
I honestly hate this bitch. What the fuck are you talking about? This guy gets captured by this large ape. Have you seen the size of him? Broke his ankles and all. And oh, I'm the human not helping the apes, with the deadpan delivery. We're like halfway into the movie and we're finally meeting the main villain, Proximus. But then he has this dinner where he has May, Noah, and they all sit down. I don't even know why Noah's important enough to be in that conversation. Proximus gasses him up and says, "Oh, I hear you're such a clever, intelligent, crafty ape." Name one time he did anything like that. I will wait. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I have heard that you are a very clever ape. Very clever.
Who's saying this about him? How's this guy any different than the random apes that were just pulling the chain and died on impact? He led you guys back to his village. His entire family died. He tried to find you, but then he got kidnapped by the people he was looking for. Really nothing else. Proximus reveals that his big goal is to get into the military vault that's stationed in the kingdom. There's tanks and missiles and weapons and all sorts of stuff. He wants to lead the land. May is there because she wants to stop him from getting all that stuff.
Tell me, what do you see?
I see a million possible escape routes. I see apes that are roaming the land, so you can just kind of do whatever you want and slip out unnoticed. This place is supposed to be a death camp, but Noah's able to sneak up to May's apartment, no problem, and he confronts her for lying to him.
I needed your help.
Trust you only to help yourself, but that could help me.
Their big plan is they're going to sneak into the vault. Proximus with all of his army, they couldn't consider the fact that maybe you should just look for another entrance. So they plan to go in there, open the vault, and then flood the vault with water.
Will water destroy what is inside?
My guess would be no, probably not, and even if there is a chance that it did, it's probably better odds that you just leave it closed. He's not getting anywhere pulling it with chains. Now, what's in that vault is a bunch of tanks, 4 stories of stuff, but I guess that's going to render it all useless once they flood it. Even though when they do flood it, it should only flood to the shoreline and probably lower than the shoreline because that's how water works when it comes into the shore. They climb up the side of this mountain. Noah almost falls again because he's an incompetent, and they get into the vault pretty easily. They only brought 1 torch apiece and it's pitch black. So of course this genius throws one of their only torches down the pit to see how far down it goes, when you could have just lit something else on fire or thrown something that's not on fire. I don't know, something a clever, smart, intelligent ape would do. Not for me to say.
Wait here.
They cut to a shot of her looking at a bunch of guns, and then they clip back to her walking into the room. They just keep making it seem like she's going to massacre these apes, and then she doesn't. But her sneaking off in the other room was for the purpose of her getting this drive. This girl's on like 5 different tiers of manipulation at this point. And just by taking a quick look at the layout of this place, there's no way this plan would work. They plan to blow up this dam so that it would fill up the vault with water. I'm sorry, but there's no way that that minimal amount of water is going to fill this entire place up. There's 4 stories that I'm looking at right now, and that's not even including this part. They walk by a bunch of guns and missiles and tanks and all sorts of things, so this next bit makes very little sense. They decide to just stand there, open the vault, leaving themselves completely exposed. Now, I was thinking in my head, maybe this isn't the biggest deal. Maybe everyone's sleeping and they won't notice, because after all, they came in here in the middle of the night. It was pitch dark outside, as you remember, and that was only like 5-10 minutes ago. When they open the vault door, everyone's standing outside. It's the middle of the day. It's like noon. The sun is at its furthest point in the sky, as if they were in there for like 12 hours. Does this make any sense to you guys? This is either a huge continuity error, or they're trying to convey that they were in there for like a 12-hour stretch. They went in at like midnight. They came out. Now it's apparently noon. Aside from that, best case scenario of their plan was to stand there and wait to be murdered, putting his family at risk again, putting his friends at risk again, doing all of this for no reason when they could have just left. They could have snuck out. And I can prove that because they snuck out to be able to get into the vault in the first place. They had to leave the whole compound, climb around the mountain, and go through the back entrance, so they could have just left and went home. Nothing in this movie makes any sense. He likes to continuously make the absolute worst decision. If you're gonna stand there at the door and just open it, leaving yourself vulnerable, okay, fine, go ahead and do that. Why don't you grab yourself a rifle? If you're not gonna do that, hop in one of the tanks. Why don't you have one person stand there, open the door, while the rest of you leave, go out the back, and then trigger it once the thing's open? Why don't you open it, run away, so nobody's standing at the door, and then it's a big question as to who did it? There's about 150,000 things you could have done except for this exact thing, but of course, what am I to say? This is the most crafty, intelligent, and most impressive ape that you can possibly find, and I'm just a humble man. What do I know?
You are a very useful ape. You understand so many things.
Either way, she saves Noah's mom, shooting the ape that was holding her hostage, and then runs away and blows the dam up anyways. She got out of there. The whole place filled up with water just like they planned it, which again, even just looking at the way they designed that wouldn't have happened. And the only reason I'm saying this as a critique is because since they're animating it, they could have just animated it to look like it would work. I don't know why they made it look as if it wouldn't work. She rigged that entire dam to blow with nobody noticing, and then wired it up right next to the vault in the middle of the open space. Okay, alright. The place fills up with water. There's a big fight scene. Noah ends up killing the guy that killed his dad. I think. I'm not 100% sure if that's the same ape. It looks like him. I'm just gonna assume it is him. And then, of course, he couldn't have beat him from being resourceful or being smart. He had to beat him just out of circumstance. Like, every positive thing that happens to him is luck or random circumstance or someone else helping him. I don't know why it's so hard for them to be like, hey, my character is good at something or capable in any way. Not even his father's murderer can he beat him based on his own merit. He just gets stuck under there. Keeping all that in mind, how do you think Noah's gonna get out of this situation? How do you think he's gonna find a way to win this fight? Noah beats this guy because I guess he eventually channels the soul of his dad, and all the birds help him out, and it's really cheesy, and he starts singing. And all the birds knock the guy off the cliff. Beats him, and then they go home. Now, you'd think that's where the stupidity ends. It's not where the stupidity ends. I promise you it's even worse. He's back at his village, and remember this bitch?
I have a name. May.
She came all the way to his village just to apparently say bye. And as you notice, she looks really strange standing there. It looks like she's holding something behind her back. When I was at the movie theater, I actually verbally said, what's she holding behind her back? I thought that I was just joking, but then you watch it a little bit longer and you realize she's holding a gun behind her back. What was her plan if he noticed that she was holding something behind her back and called that out? He's already on edge. You lied to him like 6 times. What if he was like, show me what's behind your back? Would you just have to shoot him? Nobody stands stands there like that with one hand behind their back. If anybody came to my doorstep looking like that, I would immediately suspect they're holding a fucking gun. Then the end shows that May is apparently a part of this organization that's trying to contact other human civilizations, and they needed that little drive because it's a decryption key. And that gives them access towards talking to the other bases. I'm not sure how that would even be the case. I just think it's stupid. I think they could have done something much more interesting. We knew she had a secret agenda the whole time, and the way they presented it at the end was as if that's some huge twist. Oh no, she's trying to contact other people. I don't understand why they made her story so stupid. But that's right, Wes Ball. Keep it real vague. Keep it elusive. Let's see some sequels out of these. I want 10 more Apes movies.
This is intended to be the start of a new trilogy.
There wants to be more, if possible. You know what I mean? Tried hard to make it its own standalone kind of movie while still delivering kind of potential and promise of more to come.
So you'd like to come back and like maybe helm the next one? Because I know you're a busy man, Wes.
I know. It's a good problem to have, yes.
I don't know what the fuck is going on half the time in this movie. They don't make it very clear. I don't think they do either. It really does seem like there's cut content all over the place. Either that or they just have zero forethought when they're writing things. This movie did not have to be made.